The day before the SAT, my childhood friend Ethan Cole gave me a cat-shaped necklace as a gift. I was thrilled and about to put it around my neck when I suddenly noticed a chat overlay scrolling across my vision. Seriously, women are so clueless. That necklace has a hidden micro camera. Tomorrow, every word she writes will be copied by Wendy onto her own test paper. Exactly. This is one of those over-top melodramatic romance novels. The testing center doesn't even have metal detectors. Then the heroine's life gets ruined for cheating. She marries some random guy and ends up beaten to death by her abusive husband. And the hero only regrets it after all that. He finally realizes he's always loved the heroine and starts his revenge spree against Wendy and the abusive jerk. Man, an unhinged male protagonist on a vengeance path. Epic. Can we fast forward? I'm only here for the hero going full psycho. That's the good stuff. I stared at the chat overlay for a long while. That's when I realized I'm the heroine of a clickbait, obsessive romance novel. In my past life, I wore this necklace into the SAT tomorrow, and every answer I wrote was seen by the side character, Wendy Blake. She copied my test word for word. Since I turned in my paper half an hour later than her, I was accused of cheating and got dragged through online shaming across the internet. Even my family's personal info got exposed. People revealed everything online, and some even showed up at my dad's company to harass him. To escape the harassment, I fled to a remote community college. I didn't even finish my degree before I was forced into a marriage, only to be beaten to death by my abusive spouse. As for the hero of my past life, my childhood friend Ethan Cole, he only realized he loved me after I died. That's when he went full unhinged, embarking on a brutal revenge path. He drove Wendy, who had become his wife, to a mental breakdown and had her locked in a psychiatric ward. After she was released, he forced her and my abusive husband into the same room, watching as she was beaten to death. Reading these chat overlay comments, I could feel the veins throbbing on my forehead. I wanted nothing more than to slap Ethan across the face. "Zoe, what's wrong? Don't you like it?" Ethan asked, noticing I hadn't put on the necklace. A shadow flickered in his eyes. Snapping out of it, I forced a smile. "I love it, thanks, Ethan." I suppressed the urge to slap him and slipped the necklace around my neck. In my past life, Ethan was the root of all my misery. He fell for Wendy Blake and orchestrated this entire scheme. Yet in the end, he was painted as some righteous hero. Disgusting. "All right, I've got to study. I'm heading back," I said, not sparing him another glance as I turned to leave. I was afraid if I stayed any longer, I'd lose control and end him right there. "Ethan Cole, in this life, I swear I'll make you pay for everything." The next morning, I deliberately arrived late. That morning, I made a point to take off the necklace and stuff it into my backpack. As expected, Ethan and Wendy were frantic, searching for me all morning. The chat overlay exploded with comments. What's going on? The plot's all wrong. The tragic heroine took off the necklace. Put it back on, you idiot. If you don't wear it, how are you supposed to flunk out of Crestwood University? If you don't end up at some no-name college, how's the unhinged hero supposed to chase after you? Hurry up, dummy! I'm so annoyed. Did someone rewrite the story? I glanced at the hateful comments floating by and couldn't help but frown. How cruel can people be? Just because they're watching someone else's life, they think they can spew hate without a shred of empathy. I looked away and took a sip of my milk. 5 minutes before the test started, I was still calmly sipping my milk in the car. Ethan and Wendy, drenched in sweat and looking desperate, had been scouring the crowd for me for over half an hour. Their clothes were soaked, their faces pale with exhaustion. Only then did I step out of the car satisfied. They noticed most of the test takers had already gone inside and grew even more frantic. Finally, as the crowd thinned, they spotted me stepping out of the car. I'd barely reached the testing center entrance when Ethan, dragging Wendy Blake behind him, rushed through the thinning crowd toward me. "Zoe, where's your necklace?"